Hello class, my name is Courtney and today I'm going to be presenting my final paper to you. This case centers on Rita Crunwell, who was the comptroller for the city of Dixon in Illinois for about 30 years. Number one, we'll go over Rita Crunwell's case, kind of explain what happened. After that, I'm going to go over what mistakes were made. Then I'll move on to how ethics may have changed the outcome of this situation. Finally, we'll close with some key takeaways and things we can learn from the case. First, the case happened in Dixon, Illinois. It's a city that's about 100 miles southwest of Chicago. It has roughly 16,000 residents, and it's most well known for being the boyhood home of former President Ronald Reagan. In the early 2000s, the city had a budget of roughly $9 million. This city is where Rita lived too. She actually was born and raised there, went to high school in Dixon, and one thing that's important to know is that she fell in love with showing horses at a very young age. Rita actually began working for the city of Dixon as a high school student, and upon her graduation, she was offered a full-time position, and after some time, she slowly worked her way up in the department, becoming the treasurer. In 1983, she was then elected the comptroller for the city of Dixon as well, meaning that she held both of those positions at once. All the while, Rita is breeding horses, showing horses, attempting to create her own national champion. That was her overall goal. In 1988, Rita actually embezzled money for the first time. She stole $25,000 from one of their funds. This is important because Rita used this money to put towards her breeding program for quarter horses. We're going to see again and again that Rita takes the money she steals from the city and invests it in things for her breeding program. In 1990, Rita really upped the ante, and so she actually opened a bank account that neither the mayor nor the city councilman or any of her staff knew about, and almost on a monthly basis from then on, Rita would siphon money away from the city and give it to herself. She ended up embezzling over $53 million and using it for personal expenses like buying saddles, buying trailers, buying over 400 quarter horses. Rita was finally caught in October of 2011 by her deputy treasurer because she was away at a horse show, and her deputy treasurer reported it to the mayor. The mayor brought in the FBI. Rita was arrested, tried, and convicted on multiple counts of fraud, and she was sentenced to 18.5 years in prison. In 2024, after serving about 12 years of that sentence, President Biden actually pardoned Rita, and she is now free. I think it's really important to understand that some very key mistakes were made that allowed Rita to embezzle this massive sum of money. Number one, the county did not have any internal controls, so there was not ethical public administration within the city. Rita certainly didn't have those tendencies in herself already, so potentially having some education or having a strong culture of this could have propelled Rita to develop such skills. The city also lacked external controls. Because Rita was both the treasurer and the comptroller, she had full financial access to everything. She was able to sign checks, move money, make deposits, reconcile accounts, and receive bank statements. Typically, those functions are separated amongst a number of people, but the city of Dixon did not develop this during Rita's tenure. Only after she was fired did they implement a system like this. Rita was also known to make the books very convoluted so that people that didn't have a strong understanding of finances really struggled to understand what was going on behind the scenes. Finally, there was an external auditor in place. The issue with this auditor is that they were allowed to prepare invoices, cut checks, and they completed payroll on behalf of the city, but then they were supposed to neutrally evaluate the work the city had done, but they themselves had done the work. So this was not an independent process at all. The last mistake I want to highlight is that Rita's role as both treasurer and comptroller is a conflict of interest in and of itself. Before Rita was made comptroller in 1983, another person would have held that position, meaning that Rita as treasurer and this comptroller had similar access to financial information. They also had a similar amount of power. Thus, this comptroller could act as a check on Rita and kind of keep her in line. When Rita assumed both of these functions, she got access to everything and had no one else overseeing her that had any type of financial literacy or knowledge. So how could ethics have changed these outcomes that we see in the city of Dixon? Number one, if an ethical culture existed in Dixon, there would have been the creation of some internal controls, hopefully in Rita, or there would have at least been the creation of fear, Rita knowing that her behavior would never be tolerated and would be quickly rooted out. Number two, if there were stronger external controls in place, Rita may never have attempted to steal the money, or if she did steal some, it would have been easily fettered out. Finally, if all the conflicts of interest were removed in this case, her theft would have been caught much sooner. And instead of $53 million going into building Rita's quarter horse breeding empire and winning all these trophies, winning over 100 national championships, the city of Dixon could have had a stronger police force, better water, more beautiful parks. So to kind of close things out, what are the key takeaways from this case? I think that this case really displays the need for really robust controls. I think it also really displays the importance of all public servants, regardless of their position, having the capacity to read and understand a financial statement. I also want to highlight that full restitution in fraud cases is really rare. Luckily, in this case, because Rita had spent her money on such expensive items like quarter horses themselves, like barns, like assets like trailers and RVs, they were able to recoup about $40 million of the money that was fraudulently taken from the city of Dixon. However, that means they're still $13 million short. I also want to point out that during Rita's tenure, there was major cuts to public services, so the people in Dixon literally suffered because of Rita's behavior. Additional issues that stemmed from this are that there was a crisis in public trust. Finally, Dixon's reputation was destroyed. Instead of being remembered as Reagan's boyhood home, they're now known as the city that had that horse lady with the fraud. On a slide earlier in this presentation, I had a quote highlighted. It says, "Winning is nice if you don't lose your integrity in the process." I wish this quote was something that Rita would have thought more about as she was building her national championship winning program for breeding quarter horses. She may have won all these ribbons, all these trophies, gotten all these accolades, but she abandoned herself in the process. And by extension, she abandoned all of the people in her community that relied upon her good public service. And so that wraps up my presentation, everyone. I hope you guys have had an awesome semester. I enjoyed learning alongside of you. Bye.